Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June. I got my FFSN affiliates in the building with me. We're minus a person. B. Foster will not be on the show today. We had to move the show back to Friday. So please excuse us if we're one man short, but we won't be short of material whatsoever. I'm going to go around the room and let them introduce themselves, and they can tell you where you can find their podcast shows and what we have to look for in the upcoming weeks. I know football is just about back. We're talking about preseason. We're almost there. It's what, 6 days away, right? From the first preseason game?
August 1st.
Yeah.
6 days away.
Bears.
Football.
Hey, introduce yourself to the people and tell them where they can find your show.
For those that don't know, my name's Pay. I am the EP for the Bear Claw podcast under the Fans First Sports Network. You can find me on any podcast aggregator, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, or whichever. Stitcher, even if that's still around, I'm not sure. We're also located on YouTube and TikTok under Chicago Bear Claw. Check us out.
Dave?
Hey, everybody, I'm Dave from Vikings First and Skull. We can be found in all those places as well. And we talk Minnesota Vikings and everything in the land of 10,000 lakes.
Same here. You can find us at all those podcast spots. Just type in Bleachers to Speakers FFSN and make sure you hit the notification bell. Follow us so whenever we drop, you'll get an alert. Download those episodes for us, and we'll talk. We'll keep up with the material, no matter what's going on, whether we're in blank season, whether we're in the off season or not. But like I said, 6 days away from the first preseason. And I don't care who's playing. I'm going to watch it. You're going to think I'm in front of the TV watching the Super Bowl because I miss football. And I know the Lions don't have a game until the 8th, but I'm definitely tuning in to the first. I don't care what's going on or who's on the field. They can have their third stringers out there. I don't care. I miss football. So, Pay, I believe that's your Bears that's playing on the first, correct?
That is correct, June. The Bears are going to break the seal on a 2024 football calendar.
Okay.
As they take on the Houston Texans.
Okay. It's only right.
Yeah, it's only right.
I joke a lot, Pay, but I'm looking very forward to see Caleb. I was a fan of his at USC. So just to be honest, but I'm not going to be nice anymore. But I'm going to definitely watch that game. I think Houston Texans are up and coming. I know it's just a preseason game, but they're a very up and coming team. Luckily, they're in the AFC.
Well, June, we do play the AFC South this season. So
that is true. True.
We played at Houston Texans August 1st, next Thursday, and then we turn around and play them, I believe, week 2 of the season. So yeah, this is a chess game more so than just a preseason game too.
Let me ask you something. I know this is off topic, but have you guys find it, interesting how fast that Houston has gotten? Like just like with the draft of their quarterback, they look like they belong all of a sudden. And then they've gotten some acquisitions in the offseason that's going to enhance. Are you impressed with what they're doing down there in Houston?
I mean, I'm impressed. I'm not blown back. I mean, the NFL does legislate parity to a certain degree, right?
Right.
It is easy to flip the narrative on your team. You can go from worst to first, like in a heartbeat. They do it every year. Houston's just the latest example. If my favorite example is the Cleveland Browns of the mid 90s.
Yes.
After they moved to Baltimore, it's like they became a whole different franchise. Everything got improved.
Good.
The first draft they drafted back-to-back Hall of Famers.
Yes. they
That
got good real fast when they moved to Baltimore.
you forgot real fast that they were Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
I like looking at GMs and how GMs do. Now, all of them tend to have bad years, and some of them have good years, right? Where just everything pops,
Mhm.
and they get 2, 3 Hall of Famers out of it, or Pro Bowlers, and everything's doing well. But I think Houston hit.
Yeah, they look pretty good last year. They just they look pretty good. I'm gonna leave it at that. I know they had some, like I said, they did good in the offseason. Uh, they're going to be interesting to watch, and I like the fact that you have those teams like Houston that's been kind of down for a little while, and they're starting to give their fans hope because, like I said, it's more entertainment for us as football fans. So.
Agreed. They drafted the offensive rookie of the year and the defensive rookie of the year, and should have had the coach of the year.
Yes. Yes. I mean, that's a great point and argument. They actually they went above and beyond, as if you ask me. I didn't think didn't think much of an Ohio State quarterback. I didn't. Sorry, but hey, he's doing his thing. He's proven
There isn't a
he's
long record of Ohio State quarterbacks being successful in the NFL.
But you know what's interesting, Dave? I always said that he would be better than Bryce. I thought he should be the first quarterback to go because I seen him play a lot at Ohio State. And I'm like, this guy, he's got it. Like his accuracy and his arm strength is I thought it was a lot better than Bryce's. But who knows? Bryce could turn it around. He he was running for his life a lot last year. So that's another person I want to see survive, do better because they had high hopes on him. So
You're not the only one that didn't have high hopes for CJ Stroud. I do a show every Friday on the same channel with as an AFC North commentator,
Mhm.
and those two Pittsburgh Steeler fans that I do the show with, they're big Ohio State fans. They didn't have the highest hopes for CJ Stroud either.
Mm.
And as of right now, as Dave said, it's not a long record of Ohio State Buckeyes quarterbacks coming in the league and lighting it up.
And
As
they
of right
had a
now,
lot of good ones there.
no, I mean you got Craig Krenzel and CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud, I give him 6 weeks before he's better than Craig already.
Yeah. Speaking of quarterbacks, we were talking offline, and before we get into our talks, but speaking of quarterbacks, there was a recent signing, Tua. We talked about how that payroll just goes. We even talked about how Goff got what he got, and we thought that was even myself thought that was a lot. But Tua got a better deal than Goff. And what was the numbers on that, Dave?
4 years, $212 million, which averages out to $53 million per year on average. No details that I've seen yet on signing bonus and all that other stuff, but that's a lot of money.
So by the time Caleb and JJ get there,
yeah, hopefully the salary cap will be double what it is right now.
now let me ask you that. Let me ask you guys both. If you both chime in, I don't know. I don't care who goes first. But what do you think Tua is worth $53 million a year?
That's a loaded question there, June.
Hey, we got time. Break it down.
Oh, Goff got paid how much again? More than 212, right?
35. It wasn't like 35 million a year, something like that.
Really?
Only 35?
Something like
That's
that.
damn near backup money right now.
Yeah. Yeah. 35
I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but it wasn't 50. By no means.
Remember when everybody was up in arms when Daniel Jones got 40 million a year?
I was like, who? Why? But go ahead.
So Tua getting let's rewind a little bit. There's been a lot of consternation in Miami and with Dolphin fans about what's going on with the Tua contract. Why is there a standoff? What's going on? And it seemed like they was trying to figure out where the market was for him. And it seems like every other day somebody else is getting signed. So you would assume the market keeps going up, and at some point you're saying, "Well, we're not paying you this much." To me, I think Tua is a manifestation of his system, right? And I kind of felt like the Dolphins management thought the same.
Okay.
I want to believe that's some of the reason why it took a little while for him to get signed, because it's been a hanging issue with them in the Miami market, right? You saw Tua's draft classmate Trevor Lawrence get 275. He's still the highest paid quarterback. I just knew Tua wasn't going to approach 275. 212. When you put all the numbers together, I think 212 is fair for Tua, just because, like as I said, I think he is a bit of a smoke and mirrors quarterback.
Mhm.
But it's still a lot of money.
He plays well when it's warm.
Yes, that's very true. A Hawaii boy.
212 million. I need you to play in all kinds of weather. If it's in a microwave, I need you to throw the ball with accuracy. Sorry. That's a lot of money to play for a warm weather quarterback.
That's exactly what Goff got. 4-year, 212 million.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
113 million for Goff. 113 guaranteed. I'm sorry.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking at, the guaranteed money. That's what I was looking at. Okay.
Total 170 guaranteed with Goff.
Mm-hmm.
I said that was too much.
But price is going up. And there was, as we were talking prior to the show, Pay, there was 3 quarterbacks that are waiting to sign: Tua, Dak Prescott, and Jordan Love from our favorite team in the division. And that's sarcasm for those that don't know. And it was debating who signs first, because all those 3 quarterbacks wanted the other guy to sign first so that their agents can go and say, now you got to pay me more.
Yes.
And then the next one will say, now pay me more.
Mm-hmm.
So they can say, hey, I'm the most expensive. So now we're down to Dak and Jordan Love. And I hope they pay Jordan Love $70 million per year.
That the market is trending in that direction, right?
Yeah.
Give him 70. In fact, throw a little extra guac on it. Give him 73.
You guys are so graceful and nice. Well, there's nothing. You have to pay a professional quarterback money. So, hey. Mary Fish says, interesting to watch how Cousins will do with his new team. I hope he does well. Not too well, but I hope he does well.
Not me. Not me. Especially when they play us. Nope.
It's going to be interesting. I don't quite understand what Atlanta's doing as far as a quarterback. If you go back last year or 2 years ago, last year they drafted the quarterback out of Cincinnati, out of the second round, and then this year they acquired Kirk Cousins, and then they drafted the quarterback out of Washington with the 9th pick or 8th pick, whichever one it was. It was an early pick. Just don't quite understand what they're doing there at the quarterback position. But hey, not too much on those guys. Whatever. It is whatever.
Hey, it's the team with the best running back in the league, possibly, and they don't use him as a running back. It's Atlanta.
Yes. Who are the starters? I know they have London at wide receiver. Who's the other receivers?
Drake London. Ooh, I know
Pitts is
Cordell
the
Patterson.
Pitts is
Cal
the
Pitts is
tight
tight
end.
end, something like that. Cordell Patterson is in Pittsburgh now. Who else is it? Like you said, Bijan Robinson, running back who plays wide receiver most of the time.
Mhm.
I'm not sure, but I mean, they had 3 straight years at the number 8 slot, right? They drafted Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and then this past draft, Michael Penix. So they don't have a shortage of young, spry weapons in skill positions. So yeah, what's going on with Atlanta, Dave? I have no idea.
I just question the quarterback position. I mean, they haven't been too they haven't been satisfied with what they have at the quarterback position for a long time. So we'll
Well,
see.
and for good reason.
Yeah,
I
and
would think of the quarterback, but how they manage their team is one of those head scratcher teams.
I mean, Michael Penix, that pick was like it kind of changed the draft a little bit because I know the Raiders was looking at a quarterback and they had to go without because their guy wasn't there. And I knew they were looking at Michael Penix. Knew they were looking at it. And it kind of changed everything. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to talk about our division. We haven't talked about our division. What's that you got, Dave?
It's the cheat sheet for the camera for pay. But I'm trying to get it to where it reads it. It's not wanting to focus real well.
Probably not. We'll be right back, though. And we are back. I see Pay is making signs. He has one of those high technology cameras that just zoom in when he moves a finger. So we're moving on up on these podcasts, man. Come a long way. Come a long way. Fellas, I want to ask you any news coming out of your camps. I know we have a injury, significant. Well, I don't know if it's significant, but it's a season-ended injury on our team so far. But if you have any news you'd like to talk about, Pay,
I think both of you, Detroit and Minnesota, has 2 season-ending injuries. I know I just saw the one for Detroit just today, and we talked about it a couple of episodes ago about you all signing up a much needed backup, right?
What's that? The kicker?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? With that particular kicker, he was signed, but they signed the USFL sensation Bates, and they were hoping Bates would win that job over the guy that got in. His name is Bagley or something like that.
Madison Bagley.
Yeah. I know I was hoping that he'd win the job. Didn't want him to win it this way, of course. The USFL kicker, he's like was kicking 60-yard field goals in the USFL without any problem, and he was doing in warm-ups at camp doing the same thing. So we were thinking, me and Foster was definitely thinking that this guy was going to win the job. It's just unfortunate that we had this injury, and that's probably the biggest news to come out of camps outside of of the breakfast of champions that our young wide receiver decided to have that had him puking everywhere. But he was still running past DBs with no problem. So they like what they're seeing in JMO the past week, and it's exciting to see. He just needs to eat better.
Let me tell you something. before we talk about Minnesota's season-ending injuries, hey, I liked Jameson Williams before, but I really like him now. When he posted that what he had for breakfast, Flamin' Hots with nacho cheese sauce.
What is he thinking?
You know what? there's a lot of kids, well, grown-ups now in Chicago that had the same breakfast.
Why?
That is a Chicago staple.
Is it?
Flaming Hots, like ground beef, nacho cheese. When I saw that picture, I'm like, oh, I like this guy. And it ended in the same way it usually ends. Not good for performance. But
Yeah.
I feel you, Jameson. Learning lesson.
That's funny. It looks good, but I've never tried it, so I don't know. I'll have to get some next time I do some shopping and give you a live report. June, I missed your season-ending injury. Who was it? Your kicker?
It was a kicker, yeah. It was a kicker. Bagley, I forgot his first name, but
yeah, Badgley, Michael Badgley, not
yeah.
Michael. Yeah,
Madison.
Madison.
How did he get a season-ending injury?
Tore an
Tripped on
ACL.
something?
It wasn't in practice. It was before practice. It was, from my understanding, it was something that didn't happen in practice. It was something that happened before practice.
What, dropped a weight on his foot or something?
He tore an ACL.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So I know.
2 torn ACLs in the chat. Okay.
Speaking of torn ACLs, Vikings, not yesterday, 2 days ago, had Mekhi Blackman, who is our CB3.
Mm-hmm.
When we go to a 3 cornerback setup, we have Byron Murphy move into the slot, and Blackman, who's a second-year player, comes in on the outside, and it's very good. And it was anticipated to have a huge breakout year. Well, he was doing drills, and I think he was actually covering somebody and turned the wrong way in grass. It wasn't, you can't blame the turf, and pop. He went to the ground, got back up, walked to the sideline. They checked it. He ended up walking in, but it turns out it's a torn ACL. He's done for the season. Then yesterday, CB2, Shaq Griffin,
Okay.
goes down with some sort of lower leg injury, it looks like. He goes into the medical tent on the sidelines, and then they cart him off to the facility as well. I'm hearing it's just a twisted ankle, but he was not at practice today. We still haven't heard the particulars, but we are down to 1 starting cornerback and a whole lot of fluff behind that isn't worth a damn, that we were talking about would get cut anyways. It's not looking good. Brian Flores is going to have to figure out how to play defense without cornerbacks, is what I'm thinking. Because even with the free agents available right now and who's out there, we signed some guy that was on the practice squad for a little bit last year, I think, for the Texans, and then he played UFL. And so far, that's it. And there's no way that's stepping up. That's not going to, this is a bottom of the roster guy that kept going off and back on the Texans roster. And it's just not, like I said, Pay wasn't here, but B-Flow has got to figure out how to play defense without cornerbacks this year is what it looks like if we're going to have a chance.
Or you can have your GM call our GM. We have a plethora of D-backs.
Well, I think what's going to happen is some of our safeties may be moving down.
So,
because there's a few of them that played corner prior to coming into the pros and then converting to safety, but it's not looking good. Now, we've talked about possible free agent pickups, going for the kid from Miami, and I'm not remember his name off the top of my head, but he would know Flores' system. The problem with him was he's the one that supposedly sent inappropriate pictures to a teenager, and it's just, no.
Brett Favre?
No. This is a cornerback for the Dolphins.
Oh, yeah. I know you're talking about. The good news there is, Dave, the type of defense that Flores likes to produce. You can get away with substandard. I don't want to use that word. Let me not say substandard. You don't need elite back four if you can get pressure.
Right. And that's a big key because we didn't have it in the middle three. The interior D line isn't used to it. And we got it from Daniil Hunter last year. But we think we improved on the edge, so that should help. It's going to be interesting how he works it. He likes to do a lot of man-on stuff. Well, he hasn't been able to do that in Minnesota. So he's reverted to let's blitz, disguise, and we're going to have more of that this year. This is the only way we're going to get through. And hopefully it works out. It's sad when Blackman is everybody's pick to be the next step up and be outstanding kid on your team going into a second year, and boom, done for the season. Now, the only thing I'm grateful for is it is now, and he'll be ready next year, unlike with TJ Hawkinson, who had it at the end of last year, and now we're looking at he may come back in October at the earliest type of deal. So, but that's the defensive side. Now, on the offensive side, the vibes are completely different.
Okay.
Right. And I forgot to mention on the defensive side, the death of Kyrie Jackson, who was also supposed to be in play with that. So we're going through cornerbacks like they're nothing. But on the offensive side, there's more positivity. We have Sam Darnold, who's hitting 50-yard beautiful bombs to Justin Jefferson. And it's making people weep. It is so gorgeous. That is Sam Darnold, not under pressure, 7-on-7 drills. He's looking good. From what I gather, even at the NFL national press level, that's normal Sam Darnold until he gets somebody coming at him, and we'll have to see. Well, J.J. McCarthy, the next Vikings franchise quarterback, is also looking extremely good. He's improving on his footwork. He's hitting 40-plus yarders. And there's the debate, will he pass Sam Darnold sooner rather than later? But it's got everybody happy that we have what looks like two competent quarterbacks right now, one that's going to be the future, one that'll hold off until he's ready. And so we're happy on that side of the ball. It's just our corners on the defensive side of the ball is what we're worried about at the moment.
Yeah. I'm a big JJ fan. So
yes.
That's one thing about him. He's a natural born leader, and he's going to do whatever it takes to get better. So, and he's very patient. When we got to Michigan, he didn't start right away, and he never pondered. He never wavered, didn't complain, nothing. So
I see Tim, who's a regular watcher, is off to see Deadpool.
I'm going tonight too.
Me too.
You going to see it tonight?
I had 10:30 show.
I'm going to 8:30 show.
We're debating whether to go this weekend or next. Probably go next. Let the crowds die down a little bit.
I know you're a smart guy, June, but I don't need to tell you. No spoilers in the chat.
No. What you know what? And
other than it was good.
I don't do spoilers, but spoilers don't bother me. I'm nosy. I want to know. So, but no spoilers. I don't do that. I don't ruin the movie experience. And if I went to a 10:30 show, I would not make it. With the seats they have in the theaters now, those plush leather seats and those reclining thing, you put your feet up. I'll be asleep by 11.
I've set myself up, June. I got a 10:30 show.
Oh no, it's over. It would be over for me.
Yeah, I've got some Uncle Nearest right here. I'm putting myself in a bad spot.
Yeah, it would be over for me. Definitely. That's why I picked 8:30. I know I can I can drink afterwards. So no. 10:30 in those seats. I go to what they call MJR theaters here,
Okay.
and they have the plush leather seats that recline, and your feet goes up, and it's like there's a phone charger in your console.
Wow.
Phone charger.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I'm
So,
on a strict no recline rule tonight.
oh, at 10:30, I could not. I could not. I would ruin everybody's movie experience with my snoring. It would be over.
I suspect the movie's good enough to keep you awake.
It doesn't
From
matter.
what I've heard,
I've
there's
heard
a
nothing
lot-
but good things.
Yes, I've heard some. There's a lot of great cameos. There's a lot of good callbacks. There's some good like oh wow moments. Like so, I need to be focused.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how good the movie is, Dave. If I'm relaxed,
Better you're out.
my
Just
wife can watch
like the military.
my wife can watch
Oh,
plenty
man.
of movie alone. I have to sit up, and I have to see it early. So
You and me are the same in that regards, June.
yeah, don't let me have something to drink. That's just you're putting me to bed at that point. But I'm definitely going to see it tonight. Won't be any spoilers. Back to football. I'm sorry, we got off on a tangent here.
I'm about to say we need to figure out what's happening in the division.
Hey, you got your game coming up on the first. Are we crazy looking at having expectations during the first preseason game? And what are you looking for?
Oh man, what are you looking for in week 1 of the preseason? That is again another loaded question. Last year, when they cut the preseason down a little bit, it gets a little confusing about when are you expecting to see the starters, right?
Mm-hmm.
As with the Bears playing in the Hall of Fame game, they have a standard preseason schedule. They have 4 as comparison to everybody else who has 3. So if we go back to what we saw last year, and I'm only going back to last year because it's a common coach, so we can probably parse it that way. Eberflus played the starters, his eventual starters in week 1 of the preseason. Obviously, I'm not breaking news. He's got a new defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator. So I don't know. It's a toss-up as of right now. We're still 6 days away, so it hasn't really been announced if the starters are going to play week 1. I would assume that they are. And if that's the case, I expect to see a wide open offense a wide open offense. I want to see the same thing I've been seeing in these clips propagating all over social media, Twitter, to threads, and everywhere else. I want to see Tyler Scott breaking out deep and clinching his spot on the roster this year, and Caleb hitting them for a good 30, 40-yard bomb. I want to see Keenan Allen, if he plays, he's a vet, he may or may not play. I want to see if he does play. I want to see him, I want to see Caleb finding him in the soft spots of the zone. Same thing with DJ Moore, making some explosive plays in the intermediate and in the deep spots of the zone. I just want to see the offense look wide open. I want to see it be explosive. I want to see it look crisp. That's what I'm expecting if the starters do play. If the starters don't play, then it's more so of a position battle. Who I'm looking for? I'm looking to see if there's any snafus on the offensive line, because we got a couple of position battles going on at center and guard, right guard, rather. Whether or not who's taking the bulk of the snaps for the running back with the second unit. That will be where I'm focused at, because again, position battles is a thing coming into camp. We have 3 capable running backs. The guy who started week 1 last year, he's on the bubble to get cut this year with the inclusion of DeAndre Swift and our second year running back Roschon Johnson that be drafted out of Texas. Khalil Herbert, he's on the. I mean, who carries three capable running backs? I want to know. No one really does that, right?
No.
We have 5 in the running back room. 2 of them we expect to be special teamers. So that leaves 3. Who has enough carries for 3 running backs?
Yeah, but do you have a fullback? Do you use a fullback?
Not in well, Shane Waldron offense doesn't really call for a fullback. So
Okay,
Bears
so
haven't employed one in years.
well, the
4.
normally kept on an active roster is 3 or 4 running backs.
Mm-hmm. Well, it used to be, and it was like ironclad 3 running backs, but when they stopped using the fullbacks, they kept 4 running backs on the roster. That running back would take the place of that fullback as far as a roster spot, but 3 was the number as far as how many running backs they would usually keep. I think it's 4 now because most offenses aren't utilizing the fullback position. So could be wrong though, but that's
right. We
and they'll
have
stash at least 1 on the practice squad.
Mm-hmm. They keep 1 on the practice squad.
So we have Travis Homer, who's a special teamer. He's pretty decent with our special teams last year. Ian Wheeler, who's an undrafted rookie running back, he's been looking good so far. The first week of training camp, he's looking good. He's been very fast. There's some thought like, hey, we might have to find a way to get him into the offense. That might be a little bit rich because he's, again, an undrafted rookie. So he may play himself into a special teams position as well. Then there's Tyler Scott and Velas Jones, 2 guys that I had pegged them not making a team anyway because we do have a loaded wide receiver room as well. Tyler Scott's making a lot of plays in preseason, so it might just be Velas on his own being asked out. Going back to the running backs, you have again Khalil Herbert, last year's starter running back, the guy who made it easy for the Bears to decide to, hey, we can move on from David Montgomery because Khalil Herbert's just as good. Then we drafted Roshan Johnson last year, and we acquired DeAndre Swift. It's something to pay attention to in this first preseason game.
Plus, you do have a fullback on the roster. Kahari Blasingame.
Oh yeah, Blasingame. Yeah. He's safe. He's safe. I forgot he was in there because he's usually on special teams as well. I forgot he was an actual fullback. If you'd asked me what position he played, I would probably say tight end. So
he was a former Viking. We didn't want to let him go, except for we got a real good fullback too. And our fullback, CJ Ham, is one of our special teams captains. He's just outstanding at special teams. And that's where we mostly use him.
Okay. Well, for me, looking into the preseason games, I'm looking for more. I just want to be healthy. Don't want to leave preseason with any major injuries. And there's one key person that I like to see, and that's Hendon Hooker, the second string quarterback. He has not came in last year. He was drafted last year. Excuse me. And he had a torn ACL that he was recovering from. Never got a chance to play any preseason or any spot duty. Golf took every single snap. I think this is his second year in a row where he's done that. And don't want to jinx by any, but it's kind of difficult to believe that a starting quarterback will go 3 years in a row without missing a snap. So I think the second string quarterback needs to be ready, and I'm looking forward to what Hendon Hooker does during the preseason. That's my biggest thing, is keeping everybody from serious injury free, and Hendon Hooker. What about you, Dave?
On ours, our game is the 10th of August, our first one. Normally, Kevin O'Connell doesn't play the starters unless they're rookies and need the time. And that may be a little bit different this year because I think we're going to see a little bit of Sam Darnold and we're going to see a lot of J.J. McCarthy. And we've got some position battles going on. So I expect at least a little bit of that, but most of our starters will not play. I agree with you. I want everybody to come out healthy, relatively healthy, no more ACLs. And I look forward to seeing, communication. Is the communication going well? Are plays being called right?
Mhm.
Are they, all the normal mechanical stuff that doesn't happen unless you're in a game. I want to see all that stuff happen smoothly and without hiccups. And if there is hiccups, that they learn from it and they correct it. So that's what I'm hoping for. But when it comes to the first game, which will be Thursday, and the Bears, I am hoping to see Caleb Williams for the first time on the field. Whether they play him or not, it's a different story, but I want to see that.
Yeah. Our first game is the 8th versus the Giants, and it's at the Meadowlands or wherever they play. I don't know if they still play at the Meadowlands, but I know it's away. And I definitely had plans to going to see a preseason game this year, but the tickets are ridiculous as far as pricing. So
Our
I'm
preseason game tickets, they lowered their price on them. And our first one is at home against the Raiders. It's our only home game.
Yeah. So we have one home game, but the tickets were, I think the lowest ticket was $60 some, and I refused to pay that. Not for preseason. And then they're going to air it. So I'll watch it at home. But as far as that's about it. I don't want to see. I'm not expecting too much. Looking too much. I'm just happy football's back. That to be more specific and more than anything, ready for the pads to be put on. I see a lot of the practices, and they're not in pads. They're just running around with helmets on and shorts. No, I'm ready for full go line of scrimmage. No 7-on-7s. Let's just line up and play. So I'm looking very forward to the first. And that game is going to be aired national, right? Okay.
I believe CBS has this game. It's the Hall of Fame game.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's a national broadcast.
Yeah.
For sure. I think
Well,
that's the only game that's playing that day. Yeah. So yeah, definitely going to watch that. I'm gonna tell you something that's crazy. Like the craziest thing off-season game I ever been to. I was living in Alabama, and this was, I think it was Saban's second year there. They don't know what's about to come because Saban went on a run. Alabama went on a run right after his first year. I think they went like 6-6 his first year. They were not that good. But you could tell Alabama had been down. I went to a spring game barbecue, and the spread was unbelievable. I had never been to a football party with this much food, and it was this spring game. It was barbecue. It was fried fish. It was sushi. Every single side you could think of, and there was a DJ. There was there was cards. There was dominoes, and all of this stuff going on. I forgot it was a spring game. I walk in there, and it's like they're having the time of their lives. And when the football game started, everything else stopped. The person got off the grill. They stopped frying fish. They quit playing cards. Nothing went on, and all eyes were on the TV watching a spring game. And that year they did pretty well, and they started winning championships after that. So it was like, I don't want to go overboard with the preseason, but I plan on, enjoying the preseason just like they did as they did their spring game. So, just because, not just my team, but just football in general. So,
wish
but
I loved anything as much as Southerners love football.
it's different. I thought Michigan and Ohio State was a big thing. It's nothing in comparison to Alabama, Auburn in Alabama. Nothing compared. I've been yelled at wearing an Auburn jersey. I've been people have blown their horn, threw up the middle finger because I had on an Auburn jersey. And I wasn't in Tuscaloosa. I'm just in Alabama. I can see if I was on campus or in that city, just in Alabama. So it's just how it is a different feel. And plus, they don't have any pro teams in Alabama. So it might be a little different, but that's all they have is Auburn and Alabama football in Alabama. So, and it's a huge thing there. Huge thing there. So
You're lucky. You're lucky.
It's culture.
yeah.
I'm a North Carolina Tar Heel fan, basketball.
Me too, though. Pay.
Yeah, see, we see.
Yeah.
So I go to North Carolina. I go to Durham. I've been there about 10 or less than 10 times, but it's around that number. I walk around with the Carolina blue colors on. I'm waiting for somebody to give me some nasty words or some epithets. I'm waiting on it, but they just look at you like, what are you doing? They don't say nothing bad to you. So I'm looking for that energy that you described from wearing an Auburn jersey. That'll make my day.
It's nothing like it. You won't see anything. You can go to Columbus with Michigan stuff, and you'll get that energy though. You will. If you're in Columbus with Michigan stuff, you will get that energy. I've had my car keyed and everything else because of a Michigan license plate in Columbus. It happens. They don't play. And this is when they were dominating. Because they went on a 9-year run, and I was in Columbus during that time, and they keyed my car because I had a Michigan license plate. I'm like, you guys are dominating. Why are you mad at me?
It was only 9 years?
It was 9 straight.
I thought it was longer. Pause.
So did I.
Nah.
I thought it was only this last 4 years that Michigan has done anything.
Well, in
since 1950.
2010, I think it was 2000. I want to say 2010, Michigan won.
I thought Ohio State beat Lloyd Carr in his last game, and then they went on, and then that started the run.
Yeah.
He made it all the way to 2010?
No. Lloyd Carr left 2007. They won 2007. I think they won 2006, 2007, 2008, and 2009. Michigan won in 2010 under Brady Hoke.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember that.
And that was the last year for a number of years, for 9 straight years. So it was like I was in Columbus when they did that, when they were on their streak, and they would look dominant every year. Every year they brought back this crazy team, because Urban Meyer went 7-0. Yeah, he went 7-0 versus it was crazy. It was crazy. So it was it was too much. It's too much. But that about wrap it up for the show. If you got any last parting words there, Dave, and you can start with some parting words for yourself after Dave's finished pay. We can wrap this up.
Over on Vikings First and Skull, you can catch Sunday 2 old bloggers, which is myself and Darren Campbell. We've been blogging on the Minnesota Vikings publicly since about the beginning of the internet, a little over 2 decades apiece. We're going to be talking about what's happened in Vikings land with Mekhi Blackman. Unfortunately, free agents, who we should kick tires on, and there's not a whole lot out there. And the Christian Darrisaw contract, which we did not discuss here today, making him the most highest paid offensive tackle in the league for now, and how that is good for him, and it's good for the Vikings as well, because it's a 4-year extension after the next 2 years. But we love that. We're going over to Vikings training camps, what's happened this last week in practice, and we're going to talk about the rise, which deals with this show, of the NFC North quarterbacks and how it's going to affect the division. So if you want more NFC North stuff, and if you love the Minnesota Vikings, join us Sunday, usually around 4 Central, for Two Old Bloggers. And that's on Vikings First and Skull YouTube. You can also listen to us on podcasts, your favorite aggregator. Find us on Facebook or over on Fans First Sports Network, our partner, where we do a little writing on occasion as well.
Pay.
Have a game in 6 days. We are gearing up for real live football over at the Bear Claw podcast. We're going to have a game preview show up on your feeds, whether you listen to that on Apple, Amazon, or wherever else, Spotify. That will show up on your feeds Wednesday morning. Game preview, previewing who will start, what we expect to see, and our prediction about what the final score would be. And then we're going to have our game review a couple of days later. It should show up in your feeds Friday morning. I can't wait. As you said, all hour, June. Yeah. Football is back. We're getting back in the swing of doing things, breaking down actual games, right? Not talking about assumptions 4 or 5 months ahead of time. Let's get it going, man. I can't wait. The Bears are back. The Caleb era is starting, and it's going to be enigmatic, and that is the perfect word for Caleb.
Enigmatic. Okay.
You can catch all of this chicanery and the Bears information on the Bear Claw podcast, found anywhere you get your audio feeds. And if you want to check it out on a visual aspect, the whole shows and shorts and all of that of the such is found on our YouTube channel at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan. Check us out.
Also, please, for us, subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. That's our new YouTube channel. We're getting close to 200 subscribers, so we thank you for helping us approach that goal. We're trying to get to 200 subscribers within the next couple of weeks, so please subscribe there, and you can check us out for your audio feeds, any podcast streaming platforms, the platforms that pay, named YouTube Music, Spotify, stuff like that. Just type in Bleachers to Speakers, FFSN, in your search. Follow us. Make sure that notification bell is on, so whenever we drop, you'll get a notification. Download the episodes. Fellas, we had a great time today. Literally, I really didn't have much of anything to talk about. I'm just waiting for can't wait till I know it's going to be crazy, but we're going to dissect this preseason game that happens on the first. We're going to talk about it. So definitely, I want to thank you guys for stopping in. You guys are like the best co-hosts ever. I miss my boy Foster, but he's at a Tigers game, and that's what rich people do. They go to Tigers games a lot. And we'll see you next week. Probably won't be on a Friday, though. Probably be on a Wednesday. It's my what was going on, Pay? You was out of town or something?
I was supposed to be at it was supposed to be my work to be on site for my for work. It got canceled last minute. Okay. So I was, back at home, and then, stuff filtered out throughout the week, and we ended up on Friday.
Well, I meant to ask that question earlier because Tim was listening or watching, and he asked, "What are we doing here on a Friday?" So that's why we're here on a Friday. We just a couple of things going on with the schedule. I anticipate us having a show maybe Wednesday or Thursday instead of Friday. It doesn't matter to me, but this was just an unusual situation where we had to push it back a couple of days, but still effective nonetheless. Great show, guys. And we'll be tapping in soon. There's another comment I want to show. Can't wait for football, says Anthony Campanelli, I think. But I'm not told.
Campanelli.
Hey, Can't wait for football, but I'm still not totally on board with our new quarterback. Is he a Bears fan?
Yes, he is.
Great.
Hey,
Bear
if we
down.
record on Wednesday or Thursday, it's going to be prior to the game.
Yeah.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
We can do a little preseason preview of the game.
Oh man, I love it.
I just look forward to the ceremonies and the watch.
Yeah.
Devin
for
Hester
sure.
going to the Hall of Fame.
What time is the game?
I believe it's an 8 p.m. game, or is it 6 o'clock? One of those. It's either 6 or 8. It's the Hall of Fame games it's not too late, but it's right around that primetime area. This is the only thing smoking.
Either way, we'll all be tuned in. You best believe that.
Hester, Hall of Fame.